On that,
like
that's
that,
very interesting.
I
I mean,
don't see it.
you don't think you do, but if I was to have a robot, AI robot, be programmed that looked like me and had access to everything, every question I'd ever asked, every mannerism, every style, whatever, I reckon quite quickly they could develop something which could do a very passable version of me.
Right, but I still wouldn't tune in. Like, think of another one. Are you going to tune into the tennis playing bots? Like, the fact that Roger Federer is an amazing human is why we like watching him play tennis. So I think like there'll still be a role of like humans doing human things and other people saying, "Well, look at that person, that's amazing." So I think there's going to be a totally different kind of role for people. They won't be jobs in the classical sense, but it could be great. Like, if we find a way to transition to this, it's not a threat.
Yeah.
It means you don't have to go to work and do 8 hours of whatever you're told tomorrow. You can do whatever you most want to.
Well, okay.
That could be great, but it could also be a huge threat.
Yeah, let me bring Matthew in here. I mean, a friend of mine, a friend of my son, actually, my eldest boy, his mother wanted him to send a thank you note for a party she'd arranged for his 30th birthday, and he kept delaying this. And eventually he asked AI to do him a thank you note to his mum, giving it a few details. And it did a note that was so perfect and so emotional and heartrending. His mother was reduced to tears when she read it and said she'd never been so moved by him. Now, is that good or is that awful?
Well,
it brought great joy to his mother, but she has no idea it was a robot.
As it happens, on Tuesday, my wife sent me an email. She had gone to ChatGPT and said, write a Sunday Times column in the style of Matthew Syed.
Right.
And I was like, this is going to be terrible. And I'm reading through it.
You're pretty good.
I'm thinking, my goodness, journalists are going to go.
Right.
And on the question, by the way, of we want to connect with the human, how do we know that we're currently talking to Piers Morgan,
right.
the flesh and blood human reality, and
I
the robot?
completely...
What would stop you substituting the hologram for the... I mean, I think the...
I interviewed a robot, honestly, Amy, I interviewed a robot at Good Morning Britain. It was a female robot, and it was chilling. I mean, she looked like a woman. She spoke like a woman. Now, that was a few years ago. God knows where they're getting to with this now, where they can just be very convincing humans, but with amazingly high-powered brains.
They can be. They're not perfect though yet. I've got a friend who's a school teacher, and she said that when she gets an essay done by the robot, it's so much better than any 13-year-old boy could actually do, that she can really tell which one's which still at the moment. But they'll get there. They
will. I mean, finally, Joshua, I've asked a few guests this, but what are you most excited by the potential of AI?
I think AI, as was discussed in the previous guest, is being used for evil with debt collectors and all of this stuff, but it can also be used for good. And my goal is to give power to the people, and if it makes ordinary people more powerful than the richest in society, then that's great. And so I think it will level the playing field by allowing people to weaponize AI to help them in their everyday life.
All right. Jeremy, same question for you. Quick answer, please.
Yeah, imagine the huge opportunities in education. I've got a daughter, and she's doing stuff with ChatGPT and stuff, and it's fantastic. She can learn about anything she wants to. It's an engaging thing. It's not replacing teachers at the moment, but I think AI could be used to really democratize education. That's something I'm very excited about.
I could actually see robots taking classes with kids. I mean, if they're good enough and you give them a bit of personality, why not? I mean, most teachers do a version of the same kind of lessons. I mean, you get a few who break out and do very different things each time, but a lot of them do the same stuff.
It'll be like a personal tutor for every kid.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. Thank you both very much indeed. I appreciate it.